What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Elo, and welcome to Beyond Office Walls, the podcast where we explore the exciting world of remote work and its impact on our lives, careers, and future of work. I'm your host, Dr. Elo, and in each episode, we'll dive deep into the remote work revolution, bringing insightful conversations with experts, remote work success stories, and practical tips to help you thrive in this new era of work. Whether you're a seasoned remote worker just starting your remote work journey or an employer navigating the future of work, this podcast is your go-to source for all things remote work. So grab your headphones, find your favorite remote work spot, your coffee, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to Beyond Office Wall. All right, everybody. And today we have Tanya Smith, a friend, a sister. She is really an amazing video content creator. She also does a little bit of telework, right? A little bit of telework or remote work, however you want to call it. She works from home. Sometimes she works in the office, sometimes, just like I do. So let's explore what are we going to talk to her about today and what are the questions that we have. What are the key factors influencing the future of work? How has remote work impacted the traditional career paths and job roles? What are the challenges and opportunities associated with the remote work? Finally, in what ways is technology driving the evolution of remote work? We got some great questions for Tanya today, but not before knowing who is Tanya.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dr. Elo. Look, I am a video marketing strategist and business coach. I have been in business for myself for over a decade and a half, at the same time juggling a corporate career. So I thought it was interesting and intriguing to talk about this topic because while I serve in my business, I serve entrepreneurs and helping them to really leverage live stream marketing. In my day job, I am doing things that have me, I'll say, in conversations about the idea of the workforce. And remote workplace has definitely been something that I've actually been on and off with myself. So in my 32-year career as a corporate professional, I would say probably about half of that time I've actually worked at home, even before the whole C word. So it's interesting that you asked these questions. I really had to think, like, what can I say that will be like helpful to people that are listening today? So I'm ready for your questions. Let's go.
Hey, believe me, anything that she says is going to be helpful. She's an amazing creator, an amazing friend. We just met, and what's the name of the event? Oh, it's
Ecamm Creator. Yeah,
Ecamm Creator Camp. It was in Massachusetts. It was really amazing. We met in person for the first time, so we had a blast with her. At least I did. I don't know.
We did.
With my creativity juices flowing. You know, I needed that push again. So
me too.
Big shout out to the Ecamm fam. All right. So you wanted the questions. So let's start with the questions. All right. So,
these are going to be hard. They feel hard, but let's try it.
Hard, but at the same time, hey, you got more experience than a lot of people working from home. So you're good to go. I have 100% confidence in you. Don't worry.
Okay, let's do this.
So let's start with the first one. What are the key factors influencing the future of work in the context of remote work? And how are they reshaping various industries?
Well, the big one, the big elephant in the room, of course, is technology, and particularly generative AI is a big deal. Even before that, I would say, because it wasn't really necessarily something as popular at the moment that people were dramatically sent to their homes, to work from home in bulk all over the United States and everywhere. But I think we did see the introduction of new technologies that made things easier for us to be able to connect and collaborate across the miles without having to physically be in buildings. So I think there was this movement even before the C word, and I mean the C word is in COVID as well as ChatGPT. There was a movement where people were starting to, I think, feel the pressure, right, of not being able to juggle this overwhelming thing, this beast that's become the workforce, the workplace, on top of all of our economic and family and sandwich generation challenges. So, sandwich generation, big deal, because there are a lot of folks that are around my age who are taking care of not only younger people, so people in our household that are younger than ourselves, but folks who are older than us, our parents and our in-laws. We're taking care of them through dementia and through heart problems and through all kinds of other situations. So there's just been this like convolution of all these different things, in that I think this whole growth, this big expansion of sandwich generation, technology, and the ability to be able to actually have a choice to work from home, the changing laws and legislation around accommodations when it comes to the workplace, the political administration, whichever one is in office, changes the way in which different businesses make decisions. There's just a whole bunch of things. And as far as the future of work, I feel like now with this generative AI being accessible to people everywhere on the cheap, because, it's been around for a long time, but now just about anybody can access ChatGPT for $20 a month. You can get the version 4. With that in place, it has leveled the playing field for those who maybe felt like they did not have access to be able to find certain information. And information is a currency that I think is now more available to more people, and it's going to change the way in which we do work moving forward, because now we have more options.
It is the new oil, as they say. Information right now, it's on demand, and it will continue to be on demand. It's crazy. That's what people are addicted to be very honest. We all are. Just try and leave somebody. Just not even somebody, yourself. Try and leave your phone for a day at home, and just do your normal. Try to do your normal day with pieces of paper in your pocket telling you where you're going. It's a challenge. It is a challenge. Try to use the GPS. Try not to use the GPS and try to remember where to go without routing you everywhere. So technology is a big factor. And another factor that I see, the people mindset, the mindset of you can't work from home. You can't do that from home. If you're a mechanic, of course, like I've said before, you can't work from home unless unless you're working in your garage, right?
Right.
It's not a job. Not every job works like that. Not every job is available for you to do anywhere. But perfect examples, technology, AI, it's crazy right now. And I love it because I use it. I use it as well.
Yeah, I use it too. I think it's definitely going to change the way that people learn. In some regards, maybe not for the best.
Right.
But in others, it really does open doors. If you know what to look for, you know the right questions to ask, you can get a lot of really good education and information to be able to apply and create your own job if you feel like where you are right now is where you want to be. So I think that impacts the future of work as well from a hiring standpoint.
I see it as the Wikipedia version, but robotic. Like you can, because it's not all the information is vetted, right? It's just information that people have put out there, and that's just the way the world works right now. When I did my doctor's degree, everything was peer reviewed. There's still that. To do a doctor's degree, you get to have peer reviewed articles and data. But nowadays, nothing works like that. It's crazy.
And again, I think there's this older population that is still growing and expanding. People are living longer, and that is definitely creating some, I won't, I will say challenges. That's creating some challenges from the perspective of if I'm living longer, I want to work longer, but I also see the benefit of being able to work from home because I can balance my medical care needs, my health care issues, the health care of the people that are around me that I've got to take care of. All of that to me is making a huge impact on what we're going to see probably in the next 10 years. All of it combined.
All right, so let's jump to the next question. That was, and yeah, she was saying that, nah, this is difficult questions. This was, hey, knocked it out of the park, girl. So,
hey, we're living it.
I know, right?
We're living it. We're living it.
You've been doing remote work for a longer time than a lot of folks right now. So everybody knows the remote work from 2020. You've known the real remote work for a while. So, right. So how has remote work impacted the traditional career paths and job roles across different sectors? And what are the implications for individuals and organizations?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So 32 years ago, when I first became a corporate professional, there was a huge difference in the way that we did work back then. So the traditional career had kind of like a step ladder. So there were certain steps that you needed to follow. You needed to make sure that you said in your profile that, hey, I will be willing to move and to work anywhere. Personally, I actually moved, I think it was a good 5 or 6 times. I lived in Florida. And as a result of me living in Florida, starting my career there, because of the work that I was doing, I was transferred to all these different state or cities within the panhandle of Florida to do work. I had to physically be in all of these different locations to handle claims. When I was ready to make a move with my husband, when we got married, he was stationed over in Okinawa, Japan, and I was still in the States. And so when he came back from Japan, he was stationed all the way across the country in Yuma, Arizona. And I couldn't work remote then because that wasn't an option. I had to physically find a way to get over there and to move. And this happened several times throughout our early career. Now, over time, fast forwarding, because that was the traditional, you needed to be, yeah, right. Like you had to be your face needed to be in the place, and the people that you work with had to see you and had to, they'd have Christmas parties and they'd have, you needed to go out to the golf range. Even if you didn't know how to play golf, you needed to do things where you physically were seen and present. Fast forwarding, I think that was good then because it did help for you to be able to position yourself to be promoted and all of that. But it limited people who may not have had the ability to be able to move to a specific location for whatever personal reasons that they had. Fast forwarding, when I did start working from home some, because I've always been more hybrid than fully remote. But when I started working from home, it was because my husband, my spouse, at that time, even though he was in the civilian world then, was working out of Asia. I had 2 small kids. I needed to juggle all the things. I had a mother-in-law who had dementia and was suffering from that. So there was all the things that I'm talking about. All of that was happening to me. It was refreshing to be able to see that technology had caught up to the point to where I didn't have to physically be in the room to show that I was a credible person in my seat, right? I could still show that I was able to do and deliver the job results that I had always delivered, but just in a different way. But it still wasn't very accepted until after 2020, when everybody had access to Zoom and everybody could use video and everybody was on an equal playing field as it related to being able to sit in your home office and, share, the quarterly results or talk about, the benefits of X, whatever it is that's related to your job, right? So you would be able to present information and still in such a way that you would be considered for promotion without necessarily having to move to a new location. I started noticing that more of my managers lived in other locations. Maybe they worked from home completely 100%, or they lived in a state that was, you know, hundreds or, thousands of miles from where I was, but we still had this team of people, even though they were interspersed all over the place, that came together when we needed to get the job done. So yeah, there's been a huge transition. I think now the difference between traditional and our current state, honestly, and I'm going to stop because I've been talking for a minute, but the difference between the two is that I think now there's more of a recognition that we can still get the work done. And on the other side of that, I can still wash a load of clothes in between the work. I can make sure that I go and, attend that really quick parent-teacher meeting that I might need to attend. I can make sure that I get that mail shipped off that needs to go overseas. All of those things I can juggle and still get the job done. So I think, there's just been a transition. There's more acceptance of being able to do that.
It's funny because, for example, my previous boss, who just left, 4 months ago, we're all happy for it. You're out there. So basically, she did not believe in remote work until COVID happened. You can't do this from home. It's like we're project management based. Our projects are in Texas and Louisiana. We do remote work at the office all the time. Like our meetings are virtual, all that stuff.
Yep.
Here comes COVID. After like 2 or 3 months, it's like, okay, so we can do this from home. It's like we knew about it. We knew we could do it from home, but being a person that's been in the service for 30 years, that really haven't been exposed to being or hybrid or be working from elsewhere. Well, you don't get the opportunity, so you think it can't be done. So it's a matter of getting you pushed or getting you exposed to the right situation, and that's what COVID is for everybody else. It changed everything. It changed the whole landscape. To the point that now people are refusing to go back. That bad.
But, the mindset of some leaders is still that it's not possible. Yeah, we did that, but that was then, and now we want everyone to come back 100%. And part of the rationale that they give is that it's camaraderie, it's collaboration. We need teams to be in the same place. But it's been proven that that's not necessarily the case. I do see benefit, though, Dr. E, with I see benefit of having face-to-face. I loved getting to see you in person at eCam.
Of course.
There's nothing that replaces a hug or a handshake. There's nothing. But at the same time, I think that we have to be more cognizant of the fact that people also are tired. And they're saying, you know what, I'm exhausted of making my work my 100%. Now now is an opportunity for me to have more balance. I can get the work done. I'm committed. Yeah, I'm committed, but I also want to honor the fact that I need a little mental break.
Yeah, don't drag the office to do a Zoom call. Don't drag me to the office and all of a sudden we're all in our little offices doing a Zoom call or doing a Teams call. That doesn't make sense. What am I here for? It's because you're paying for a building. That's basically what it is. And you're reluctant to just downsize like you're supposed to. So downsize your pace, pay a little bit less, and let your people stay home. And let them, come in once or twice and they can share the cubicles. Believe me, people don't care about sharing cubicles. There's always one. But, I don't care. You want to reduce my office? Hey, take it. I can do the work from home because when I'm at home, guess what happens? I don't get distracted by coffee breaks. I'm distracted by the neighbor talking like, she's shouting or he's shouting.
Gossiping.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's ups and downs, but when we do go to the office on Mondays, I love it because on Mondays, everybody is there at the same time and we all, sit down and
Yes.
have a real meeting.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
all right.
But if you're doing it 100% of the time, I don't know that really is logistically making any sense anymore.
No.
I do understand the benefit of tax breaks in certain states for having the footprint. And I know that that's part of the reason, too, that there are companies and organizations that are saying, hey, we want you in the building because we need the building populated in order for us to get this tax break. So I get that. I do understand it, but I love the concept if more could accept even the idea of hybrid, like you're saying, where we come in and we truly collaborate because everybody's there. That's different than saying, hey, I want everybody to come in and then go to your various cubicles to get on camera again.
By the way, we got headphones and a microphone so you guys can go attend your meetings. Huh? That doesn't make sense. Eon. All right. So, what are the challenges and opportunities associated with remote work as it relates to specific industries, and how can businesses adapt to these changes effectively?
One of the biggest challenges, I will say, is new people. When new employees come into a culture an organization has built, it is important for them to have some influence of others who have been there before them in order to pass down those traditions and the culture. I understand that. And I think that's a challenge. It's very difficult, especially for newer people to come into a company and not be immersed in having that conversation with people face to face, being able to look them in the eye and ask them questions and say, what do you think of this and how does this work? So I think there are opportunities, again, for there to be some flexibility and for instance, new people to be brought in at the same time for training periods, for instance, where there are also people who are tenured, who have been around a while, that mentor them. I think mentoring is definitely something that is a positive solution. And it may, again, the mentoring may not necessarily have to be physically, but it should at least be one-on-one. If there are even one-on-one calls, that can help to make that person feel a little bit more like they have someone they can rely on to give them honest feedback and an instructive or constructive criticism. So, yeah, that's a huge challenge is new people. I also do think there's a challenge of the people that are slackers. So let's be honest.
There's an app called Slack for a reason.
Right. There are people who don't carry their weight and don't do what they're supposed to do. And they end up, being away from their desk or trying to find ways that they don't have to get the work done. But I think those individuals have to be addressed individually and based on the circumstances. Because not, like you said earlier, not every role and not every person really will do well in a virtual environment.
Yeah, for me, the example that I can tell is if you have a slacker, I've had slackers before, believe me, and working for me, and it's horrible because you get it's like pulling teeth. But until you don't give them something to motivate them, because there's always people are always motivated by something.
Yeah.
Unless you don't get to know the person and what ticks them on and off. I think there's always an opportunity to win in this in this environment. Now there are people that do not work well in remote, and those people they fully deserve to be back in the office. And I fully agree that not everybody can do the remote work. Not everybody can even do telework because they abuse the system. And there are metrics and there are technologies that you can use to quantify what are they doing and what are they not, and take them straight to HR whenever you have to. There's no reason to keep somebody just because he or she is giving me a headache, so I'll just don't bother him, because that's what usually happens. People just don't bother the people who are not doing the work. They just leave them alone. Like you've seen Office Space?
Yeah.
The movie they put that guy. I'm gonna take this building and burn it and put it
In
down
the basement.
the basement with the red stapler. It's like
Yeah.
you didn't even tell them you just stopped paying them. There's examples like that everywhere, and you need to address them correctly.
And guess what? Those same people that are not getting the job done remotely, those probably would be the same people, even if you're in a physical space with them, they're not getting the job done. So some of that, it is observation. It is addressing the situation head on and not ignoring it and just putting it off to the side to let it fester, because that then creates problems with the team, and the rest of the folks are feeling like, okay, so they're not going to address this. I'm picking up the extra over here.
Get up the slack.
Right?
We get up the slack, literally.
Yeah, but then you have people who are superstars. You have people like you and I. I get up usually 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on at 6, and I'm working until maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night, right? So I'm going to work through until I get the things done that I know need to be done. But that's not everybody. I do think that's a good amount of people, especially now that we want to hang on to this idea of, hey, let me work from home. I will get the things done for you if you give me this, right?
I don't want to leave this job because this job is good and I can work from home. I got some liberties that I don't get elsewhere. So, yeah.
And I think, there's opportunity for us to really kind of examine the companies that are out there that are, trying to just go extreme one way or another. I think those are the ones that are going to fail in the future.
That is true. All right. So last question.
Really?
What? Yeah, I'm telling you, this is good topics. I love talking about this because people say like, hey, are we really done? This fourth question, In what ways is technology driving the evolution of remote work? And how might the relationship between technology and work continue to evolve in the future? And you talked a little bit about this, but let's go deep into how this may evolve.
So it's not just technology in the form of like chat, right? Or intelligent generative AI. It's not just that. It's also that there's the creation of new devices and new gear and things that will allow people that previously weren't able to access information a certain way to be able to be, again, on a level playing field. So there are trends in allowing people who may have health and wellness issues to be able to monitor, wait a minute, my heart rate is going up, so therefore I need to probably take a break. Or if they're diabetic, for instance, that are giving signals and telling them, hey, you're having a situation where you need to take a break and go do something. I think there's all of these different technologies that are helping us from a wellness perspective, that are helping us to be more connected, like Zoom and all the different types of video platforms that are out there, that are even more connected in the fact that everybody nowadays has a smartphone that is a supercomputer in their hand. Even people who are homeless, I've seen with cell phones. So think about that. So the ability to be able to communicate across the world, the ability to be able to make sure that we're fully where we need to be. So all these different mindset apps and meditation apps and things like that, I think we're going to continue to see those with the introduction of different cars where you don't necessarily have to drive, although I'm really a skeptic right now of driverless cars. That and the speed of the different trains and things that are being introduced. I think there's one called a hyper train or something like that. That's going to help people to be transported more quickly. There's a lot coming, and I think that will continue to drive decisions about how companies are having people be in a physical location versus being able to connect from a different location, from a different country even.
Yeah, I see all these movies now, and we're living in a lot of parts of movies that we saw 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm still wondering, it's like, what's next? Are we gonna be half androids? With instead of phones, we're gonna have chips in on the back of our ears, so we can just snap our fingers and communicate with somebody else. How's it gonna work exactly? I've seen all that stuff, and there's already technology out there like that. There's a lot of stuff, but obviously we don't know because it's they have top secret levels or whatever.
Yeah.
From the government standpoint, or from even some trade secrets from some companies.
Look about the Google glasses, right? All these different things that you're able to use now to be able to access information and transmit information somewhere else. All of that is going to change. Oh, even the 3D office interactions. Look, and I'm a small business like you, right? Our side gigs are small. Even I have been able to dramatically change the way that my business model runs. I'm able to run co-working. I have one after this event, co-working spaces that are virtual offices that I can design to look like whatever I want. It could be a jazz cafe or a coffee house. And everybody's in these circles with their video cameras on, and we've got whiteboards and we've got other stuff. We can add PDFs to download and read and talk through. Videos and all kinds of things. And I'm a small business. I'm not a huge corporation. So if I can do something like that and pull together people from all over the world into a co-working space without having to pay for the brick and mortar fees to have a building to do that, and I can even lease out spaces, right? Virtual offices.
What blows my mind is stuff like that too. That like SharePoint, where you can open a document and you got 6 people working simultaneously on the same document.
Yeah. So why on earth do we have to be in a physical place when we have these options available to us to be able to get work done quickly, right? And still in a way where we're pulling ideas, diverse ideas from people in different locations, because there's nothing like having diversity of thought. So that's one of the things that I think is a challenge that I didn't mention earlier is it used to be that when we were all in the same office, we all wore the same suit colors, we all spoke the same speak, we all had the same mindset. And now that we're pulling people from different parts of the various countries, and even just internally in the U.S., we get to tap into those different cultures and different ways of thinking.
What's that term that they use when you have the same group, the same, and then the 5 persons basically think the same thing?
Groupthink?
Groupthink, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I had the word right there.
Yeah.
So group thinking, that happened a lot before. You
Yeah.
know, you got people from freaking Japan, Australia, you got working in the same teams. Like, yeah, there's no time for group thinking right here. This is what I think because this I've had a different experience. It's not the same people having the same experience or something similar in the same area. So
Yeah.
we've opened up. It's it's the wild wild west now.
More creative solutions, more ideas, more thinking with empathy, I think is a thing. I think those are all good things. Yeah, there are going to be some challenges, but I see remote and hybrid work as a positive. I can't see it but anything but because of all of these things that we're seeing come out of it.
Yeah, I see it as well. But to Congress, you do not need remote work. You need to get your asses to work. Thank you very much. Other than that, I think, yeah. Any final words on Tanya? Where we can find you? What's your handles?
Yeah, I don't usually talk about remote work, so if anybody's coming to me for that, just know this is Elo's thing.
Hey, but she's an amazing video creator. If you want anything video, this is your gal, right?
Yeah, I teach video content strategies. If you're trying to leverage, especially live stream marketing for your business to get more visibility, to be able to sell more of your services. I work a lot with service providers to help them to use video and especially live streaming to do just that. You can find me at getnoticedwithvideo.com. You can also find me at marketingwithtanya.com or at streamlikeaboss.tv. Those are my 3 big ticket websites, and my socials are on all of those. Most of my socials end with at Get Noticed with Video, but on YouTube, I'm Tanya Smith.
And I'll make sure I'll put all that information down in the description on YouTube, and on the podcast, I'll put the information in there as well. So if you have anything that you need video-wise, hey, believe me, go to this lady. She will set you up. Well, thank you, my friend. Make sure you hit this QR code with your phone or your camera and check the podcast out. This is Beyond Office Walls. We're navigating the remote work environment. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time. And this is Dr. Elo. Thank you.